So this isn't going to be an easy one for me to do, but I think it's really important to put it out there because hopefully by me expressing this in this raw way, one person, even if I can reach that one person on the other side of the screen, then I've done my job and it's done its purpose. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story and I'll try and keep it relatively succinct, but I encourage you to stick around for this, okay? So, long time ago, I got started in affiliate marketing. This is way back in 2011. And this isn't an affiliate related video, by the way. This is like money and life and determination and all that type of stuff, but I'm going to lay it out for you guys a little bit. So, no matter what you're pursuing, there's going to be a lesson in this, right? That's where I'm going with. Anyway, 2011, and I started trying to transition what I was doing offline, which was effectively I was teaching people how to trade the financial markets in simple terms, how to analyze chart patterns, how to read, I guess use the software that my company was providing, how to read chart patterns, how to manage risk, all that type of stuff, right? And I was pretty good at it. I enjoyed it. I was somewhat of a subject matter expert at that time for the company that I worked for. And I loved it. I loved the financial markets. I still do. And so I thought, how can I take the skill that I'm doing as a job that I enjoy? How can I bring that online, and basically do the same thing at nights? And so I started setting up blogs. And herein lies the mistake. There's two very valuable lessons out of today. Number one is I set up 3 different blogs at the same time. So they were on the share market, a broader like money topic, and foreign exchange trading, all of which I was pretty well versed in at that time. So therefore I thought logically, I'll just I'm teaching this stuff, I'll just put it out there, right? And I brought a bunch of domains, I started putting content on them, things like that. And so the first lesson for you guys, and off the back of my suffering, is number one, make sure that you are remaining focused, because I look back on those days and I think, imagine if I just done one blog and I'd actually got the structure of it set up correctly. And I'm quite a good writer. I enjoy the process of writing. So if I just continue to write, and we're talking what's the date today? Something Feb 2024. So call it like 12 years plus 13 years down the track or whatever it is, right? Imagine how many articles I would have produced, how much money that blog would have made me in that time had I just stayed focused on that one pathway. So that's the first lesson of this stuff. It's not something that's overly new. I've spoken about this many times, but it is unbelievably important. So the second thing that comes off the back of this, and this is a mistake I see very prevalent within our industry, within the coaching, affiliate marketing, consulting space and all that type of stuff. It's like, I had a chunk of my ego tied to wanting to be unique, wanting to figure things out on my own, and I've always been stubbornly independent, always, right from very young age. And so as part of that, I've always felt like it's a deficiency within me as a man and me as a human being to ask for help. I fucking hate it. Even now, it's still something like, even my wife, I literally don't ask her for anything, and if ever. Actually, it's a lie. Every now and then I'll ask her to make me a cup of tea or hand me a piece of fruit. But other than that, I don't really ask for stuff. I find it very difficult to ask for help. And I suspect I'm not the only one. I've had multiple conversations from multiple people, and the entire act of asking is quite a foreign concept for us. Somehow we bring it on ourselves as some sort of deficiency in our personality, like, I shouldn't ask for help, because that means somehow it's a sign of weakness if I need fucking help along the way. And the narrative needs to change. Like, it's such a bullshit narrative. I don't know where it came from. I haven't really investigated the psychology behind it all. But it's a bullshit narrative, and it needs to change for starters. Anyways, back to the story. So I didn't ask for help. I didn't go and seek out a course that said, here's the systematic process to set up your blogs. Do this, get the structure right. Here's how to leverage certain aspects over here. Here's how to do the whole kind of SEO in a rough way. I didn't do that. Why? I assumed blindly that because of my tenacity, I could go find that information online. I was like, there's heaps of stuff on YouTube, not as much as now, obviously, but there's heaps of stuff on YouTube. I'll just go find the information. I'll go to a blog and figure out how to make a blog. Like, that was my attitude. I didn't want to get a mentor because I thought that the idea of paying someone $5,000 or $10,000, I thought that is disgusting. How can anyone charge that much for, their time, things like that? Which was, fuck, what a weird attitude to have. That was, my god. And so I had to grow into that, right? I had to grow into that. And the thing that I think, I don't really regret much in life, to be fair, but I do have some regrets. And one of which is the idea that I held on to this idea for so long, I held on to this thing like, my goodness, if I get help along the way, somehow I'm deficient. And the other part of it is I never looked at the true cost. So let's say hypothetically, and I know I'm not familiar with any blog kind of coaching programs that cost 10 grand. Maybe there are out there, I'm not too sure. But let's say hypothetically I'd gone out there, I'd spent 10,000, and most of them are going to be significantly cheaper, by the way, but let's just say for argument's sake, and I'd spent $10,000 on setting up my business, which is a blog at that time. And I look back and I think, how many tens of thousands of dollars have I spent since on time invested in learning things the hardest possible way I could, through trial and error, as opposed to just buying a course and getting that sorted, or paying someone to teach me in a very, very quick succession so I could just literally download the information. How much time is it? How much money has it cost me? How much time has it cost me? And I guess how much lost profit, so opportunity costs on the back of that, how much lost profit would I have made had I taken, without ego, just taken the advice from a mentor and gone, okay, I will execute. Thank you for the game plan. I like where you're heading with this. Let's go execute. And it sort of pains me when I look back, and it's a very hard lesson, very, very hard lesson, because I look back and I'm like, man, I could have been so much further ahead. Could have had dozens of these things by now, And the reality is these only started happening from late 2019 onwards. So it's like all these years, 7.5 years of me repeating that fucking stupid pattern, not getting help, trying to figure it out on my own, going through like small resources, because I was really, the reality was I was too afraid to back myself. That was the truth of it. I thought it was a cost. I thought that if I was investing in a mentor, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it was, I thought that was a cost to me. I'm like, I am out of pocket now. I can't go down to the pub for 3 weeks in a row. And so with that mentality, I wouldn't see it as an investment in myself. And so I would go, and then when I finally did start investing in myself, like, it was like, oh my God, here's my credit card, and bang, good things would happen. Why? Because I spent money on it, and it hurt. It fucking hurt the first couple of times I did it. It's like, all right, here's $3,000, here's $5,000. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous now. What do I do? And then guess what? I took the information seriously, and I started looking at it through a different lens, because I was invested in it, yes, but even more than that, I was committed to it because of how much the financial investment meant to me, how much value I had placed on that, right? So I'd overcome this big hurdle in my own mind. And then I started looking at things different, because then I started seeing that if I go through a program and I get one fucking nugget out of it, that's like, ching, light bulb moment, that could pave the way for an entire promotional cycle. That could pave the way for my next launch. That could be the reason that helps me get an extra 3 sales next month. So therefore, I looked at it with a different lens. So yeah, just a kind of a random one for you guys, really. I just wanted to sort of express this thing that if you are, you're looking at all this content out there, myself, dozens of other creators, I'm not unique, right? Actually, I mean, I totally am unique. No one else is doing this stuff like me. Actually, no, that is true. There's very rare that people will have the same personality type and the same skill set and the same way of communicating, the same life experience. So yeah, I am fucking unique, and my pathway is unbelievably unique. Maybe I'll reveal all another time. But anyway, I wanted to put this out there because I see it really prevalently, and if you are following people out there and they're saying, you got to invest in yourself, and there's a part of you that's kind of like, you just want my money. You got to look past that, right? It's because the people that are saying this stuff it comes from experience. I know that if I go and like splurge out $5, $10, $20,000 on coaching and mentoring, I will get an immediate return mentally, right? And that is the one of the biggest things. So you've got to stop looking at this as at a cost. You've got to look at the opportunity cost of not doing this thing, not getting this help. Because if you are in a state of pain and torment and trauma, because you are like, oh my God, like my leg is missing because of this thing that I need to sort out, and you're not seeking medical help for that, that's on you, right? Like it's a dumb attitude to have. And like I say, I don't attack you specifically. If you're watching this, I'm attacking the old version of myself, and just like, oh, I wish I could reach through the screen to my old self and go, whoosh, snap out of it, dude. You know, get your ego out of the way. Just do it. Just fucking jump in, because reality is, you know, yeah, maybe let's say hypothetically, going back to old mate 2011 Jamie, right? I was a very tenacious person, very determined. Still am, but I've let go of a lot of it, the old identity in some ways. And let's say that I had neglected to get help along the way. I hadn't sought out mentoring. I hadn't chipped and chopped and changed as much as I did, and I just stuck with one path the entire time. I would have eventually figured it out. But, you know, like I say, what are we, 13 plus years later? Would I want to wait that long to figure out how to make a blog? Or would I want results like that? Right? And the truth is, of course, I would want results like that. That's what I would be wanting. You know, I would want to contract down the time it takes for me to deploy the right action, the right information in the right manner to get the right results. That's kind of it. So anyway, I'll leave you with this. If you are looking at jumping into something, a program, or, you know, perhaps you're wanting to, you know, my Ultimate Marketing Mastermind for a while, time of recording is $1,500. It is, I would argue, probably one of the best programs out there for organic marketing, especially around setting up communities and monetizing communities, things like that. If that's of interest, and you're looking at these types of things and you're like, that's a lot, oh my God, there's a lot of cash, which, by the way, $1,500 is fucking nothing, right? Like, you know, you'd blow that on a couple of weekends out, just for something that can potentially change your life. And if you're concerned about that, money is always replaceable, time is not. Money is always replaceable, time is not. Just hammer that home to yourself, because realistically, if you go out and you invest in something and it doesn't work quite the way that you thought it was going to, you've actually only lost a completely replaceable resource and a little bit of the irreplaceable resource, right? But if you neglect to do that, then you're going to lose a lot of the irreplaceable resource, like I did, 7.5 years of floundering around trying to figure it all out, rather than just getting the actual help that I needed, and more importantly, getting the help, but actually fucking executing on that help that I got, right? Letting go of my ego enough to accept that I need help, and that a mentor who has walked this path before me may just know a couple of things a little bit differently than I do, and then just executing what they tell me without reservation. And then, lo and behold, when I did and things really started taking off, 7 days, literally 7.5 years floundering around, trying to figure it out, doing a couple little wins here, not much, tiny little bit of wins here, blah, blah, to then finally executing 7 days, bang, $1,000 a day. I like this feeling. This is pretty damn good. What happened next? Next day, $1,000 a day. What happened that month? First $10,000 month. What happened later on? First 20,000, first 30,000, first 50,000, first $1 million award. Focus, execution. Focus, execution. Getting help along the way. Right. Anyway, a bit of a ramble for you guys. Hopefully you got some benefit out of this. Really appreciate you guys. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about this type of stuff. You know, you want more of this type of content, or you want the flashy editing stuff. Either way, I'm good. But I prefer doing it this way because I actually don't love recording videos. This is the format that I really enjoy. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Hopefully you guys get value. All right, I'm out. Have a good one.